broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your #1 source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Ray Donovan fans. Welcome back to the Ray Donovan After Show here on AfterBuzz TV, talking about Season 2, Episode 11, Rodef. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me, as always, full panel's back. Kennelia Stradwick's here.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Isaac Johnson's here.
Hello, everyone.
And the lovely Anna Koppel is here.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. So, we're one episode away from the finale, and, like, we were nearly having a fit watching this episode. We were so stressed out.
Stressful.
Yeah, intense. Lots going on, lots to talk about. We had our big heist. We've definitely set up some serious problems for the finale. Like, we're at the lowest possible point we could be.
Sure.
Yeah. And everyone's in danger. So we got a lot to discuss. Right off the top, we got Cochran dealing with the death of Volchek last week, giving a press conference with this, like, horrible canned speech about, you know, oh, he was depressed, and, like, his wife is just losing it. And this is, she's the smoking gun in this. Like, she can't keep her mouth shut. He's like, she says, he wasn't depressed. He was just a sweet boy who, you know, didn't really like having sex with me, but I liked having sex with him, and he killed himself over it.
Seems like a paraphrase of what she said.
Maybe I changed a word or two.
Or all of them, I think.
I liked it, or all of them. Yeah. I liked it because, you know, Cochran just didn't see it coming. You know, he basically fires Frank. He forces him into early retirement on the way into his speech. He's just like, you know, I'm tying up loose ends. But he just never saw the wife coming. Just didn't occur to him. Like, kind of loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was more emotional than his actual wife, than the guy's wife. Because the guy's wife, she looked a little in shock, but Cochran's wife really looked like they had a relationship. She lost her lover, homie, and her friend.
Yeah.
Well, like, look at their...
Specifically her homie.
But that's the truth. You know, you look at their swinger relationship, like, Megan, Volchek's wife, was cheating on him even when they weren't swinging.
Yeah.
And Cochran's wife was, like, really into this guy. She was really hurt when he didn't want to have sex with her because she cared about him so much. But what I love about what you're saying, Anna, is... You're absolutely right. Like, his wife has been his confidant. She's been, like, a perfect, you know, foil for him his entire career. He never thought that she would be the one to lose it at the moment of their triumph. So it's always great to see Cochran caught with his pants down, at least metaphorically.
And literally as well.
Literally as well, yeah.
We like a no-pants Cochran.
It's true.
You guys do. I'm not a big
When the Cochran just swings free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In any case, he goes to Ezra for help. You know, Ray's got him in kind of a bind over this video. He really wants Kate taken out. And Ezra, ever the shark, sees an opportunity to get himself a very powerful friend in Washington, D.C. Now, I've been, like, really concerned with Ezra as he and Ray have kind of, like, pulled apart over the course of this season. And to see him just so very, very obviously in this episode working against Ray, very bothersome, especially as somebody who considers himself to be the real father that actually cares about Ray. He's never cared about Ray. Ray's just been useful to him and a part of his family that he could control.
Well, I think we have to remember when some people don't know how to care about others the way we would. I think Ezra cares about Ray the way he knows how to care about people. Because the same way he's treating the woman he's with, that was his mistress while he was with his wife. He treats her, he just, you know, randomly talks about Ruth while she's around. You know what I mean? It seems like Ezra really thinks he does care for Ray, and that's how he shows it. So I really think he thought he was helping him.
What do you guys think?
Well, I think I share that thought. When, you know, Ezra took Ray on when he was a child, really, when Ray's mother was either dead or dying, and Mickey was on drugs and absent, whatever. Ezra did kind of take him under his wing, sure, to a life of crime, but he did look out for him and kind of set him on this path of, at least he'll be financially secure and whatever, and he'll have some sort of guidance in his life. So yeah, Kennelia, like you said, he cares for people in the way that he knows how to. Sure.
And he also, like when he wasn't sort of be able to stop, like, 2 episodes ago with the whole Bridget thing, when Ray tells him that, Bridget was in the car. Yeah. That really stops him. So maybe some specific personal connection, but like the thing with Kate, he's just, I don't know, maybe just trying to clean up that situation and doesn't care what it costs Ray to clean it up.
Right. And I think also he just doesn't understand why Ray is being, such a Dickens about this, to use a word. Yeah. A word that most people don't use. But in this kind of situation in the past, it would have been no question. Ray would take care of it and it would be done.
Well, obviously he doesn't know about the relationship.
Exactly.
So that's the conflict,
Yeah. So we also have Kate McPherson finding Frank when he goes out to his boat, and we've got the smoking dog, as it were. Catherine Shaughnessy's dog right there, baby right there, and she gets him to admit on tape that Mickey killed Sully Sullivan. Huge.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it me, or is it weird that Kate is really comfortable around these people? Like, she's never on edge when she's approaching someone about the facts, or she was just sitting there real relaxed with the dog, like, this is Catherine's dog. Like, I would be scared if I knew all of this stuff happened and they lied to this extent to cover it up. I would be scared to approach anybody with the information thinking that maybe they killed me. Because if Catherine did die, she's not in witness protection. That means somebody killed her. They didn't give a damn. So I would be scared. I wouldn't just be like, yeah, you did this. Tell me the truth. I would be like, can you please tell me?
I don't think that her job allows her the opportunity, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, to be scared. I mean, she has to go into dangerous situations all the time, and that's how she gets her story. That's how she, I guess, maybe won a Pulitzer. I'm not sure if she did before, but...
Or was going to.
Yeah. But, she, in investigating Sully, I'm sure she's used to dealing with these kind of people. And I don't think that she can back down, because otherwise she won't get her story.
Yeah. Yeah, but don't you catch more flies with honey? I mean, I feel like she just approaches these thugs and, just these armed people.
Sure.
Like,
well, she can't sleep with all of them. She can
yeah. Okay, fair enough. But I just, there's
the honey that she has, as far as I know.
That's gross.
But that's how
and
she got
even
Ray.
that is like raw, unfiltered honey. There's still some pollen.
Don't know what kind of honey it is. I'm just saying that's how she got to Ray.
I just feel like there's a way to approach people and word things, perhaps, and she just is not going about it.
It works for her, though.
Yeah, she got results.
The story.
Yeah.
She got the results. She got everything she wanted.
I thought she was going to get pushed off the boat. I was like, just push her off the boat. Because she was real ballsy, like, tell me the truth. I would have been like, right into the sea. Because she was too ballsy.
I'm proud of her, okay?
You're going to be proud of her when she gets shot in the face.
I will be proud of her, because she stuck to her principles.
She died with honor.
Died with honor. Yeah. So Ray obviously is handling a lot of stuff in this episode. We open on him looking out over the sea like a majestic, doomed man contemplating his fate. And Lena drives his accountant out with her, and he tells her to stay on Staccarazzi. We need this tape, and just take care of yourself. Like something might happen to me. I can't say what it is, but something. And his accountant gets out with papers to sign over a deed to sign over property of this Malibu property that's worth a nice bit of money to Abby, Bridget, and Connor. And she's really concerned, and understandably. Like, should I close up shop? Do I need to get out of town? Am I about to is there about to be some massive investigation into your money laundering? He's like, don't worry about that, but just know things probably going to come to an end. And there's this overwhelming sense of doom that hangs over this whole episode, leading up to, of course, Shorty's death, which we'll talk about later in the show. But you know, from this scene onward, we're just like we're marching towards something horrible. And I really have to give, you know, credit to the writers of this episode. I think, especially for like a shorter episode, they really packed it full of material. Yeah. So we've been seeing the evolution or de-evolution of the relationship between Ray and Lena and Avi all season, and it kind of comes to a head this episode. I just want to talk about it real quick. You know, Ray like, we were even saying it as we were watching, you know, when Avi was talking to Ray over the phone, and we were just like, dude, like, you can't do that. You can't keep doing that.
He treats Avi like crap. And to me, thinking back, it started, or maybe it started before I just didn't realize it. Remember when Cochran said to Ray, the guy who is working for you sits at home at night and watches TV with his mother. As soon as he heard that, that's when I started to notice that he was treating Avi a little differently. Being smart with him, being short, just bossy, and just, you know, real gritty for no reason. So is Ray jealous that he is cool with his mom? Like, what is it? What is it?
That he's satisfied with his life?
Yeah, is that... Because to me, that's when it started. That's when I started to notice.
What do you guys think?
I think that the fish stinks from the head, and that it really has to do with his relationship with Ezra. That has... I feel like Ezra's been treating him a different way. And he's been treating Avi and Lena how Ezra's been treating him, which is just sort of like, you work for me, I don't have to answer to you. You just do what I say and shut up, you know, and I pay you and shut up.
No, that's a really good point. I hadn't connected Ezra to that part of the behavior, but all season Ezra's just been like, I'm all about the RGOCC. I don't care what you have to do. You know, you work for me. We're making this happen. You know, this isn't about, you know, preservation for everybody. This isn't about what's best for everybody. This is about my legacy, and you are going to make my legacy happen. You know, which just passes down to Ray. It's like, no, you're going to do what I tell you to do because you are going to keep me out of jail. You are going to keep my family, you know, on the straight and narrow. And you're absolutely right. It's just it's a trickle-down effect.
Well, and if you say that Ezra is a father-type character for him, he's just repeating the behavior of his father.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's also, it's a little different, I think, going to your point, Kennelia, between Avi and Lena, between Ray and Avi and Ray and Lena, because Lena, he knows, isn't going home and enjoying, you know, watching American Idol with her mother. She's like, he references it again this episode, like, how many times have you beaten up a girlfriend, like, and I've had to bail you out of trouble, like, you're just as twisted as me. That's why I don't have to put, you know, like, kick you as hard. But, like, Avi, for whatever reason, just sticks in his hide. Because Avi just comes to him with concern. Lena, she has that concern, but it's more functional. It's more, you know, we're just trying to get a job done, and I'm trying to earn a paycheck.
Yeah, I agree. I can see that.
All right, before we move on, I just want to really quickly talk about iTunes. You know, folks, I say it every week, and only because it's the truth. The best way you can support us here at AfterBuzz TV is to go to iTunes, rate and review the shows that you listen to or that you watch on YouTube. It only takes a second. It doesn't cost you a dime, and you get a nice shout out here on the show. We have a few reviews. Must listen for RD fans from KT Savage, 5 stars. Watch Ray, listen to the podcast. It's awesome. How long do you think it took him to write that review?
I remember reading that review. There's a couple periods in there, so...
it really depends
about
on how fast
15 seconds?
Yeah,
maybe 15 seconds?
16 or 17,
yeah.
Sure.
And a fabulous podcast, 5 stars from Sunnydale99. Ray Donovan is a really good show. The AfterBuzz show is just as enjoyable. It has great hosts, discussions, and interviews. Thank you guys so much for your reviews. They really help us out. It's how we're able to get sponsors.
AfterBuzz! Yeah.
Wow.
That's cute.
That was new.
I've never heard that before.
That.
Yeah.
Harmonizing.
Do we have a Glee Club in here?
Twos.
Damn. We also get we also have Ray mopping up this Cookie Brown situation. Now Cookie brazenly going to the Marvin Gaye Washington and Recon funeral in his bowler hat, looking like $1 million. and just smiling, grinning from ear to ear as he's posing and smiling and waving in front of the pictures of them. And it's just horrible.
Talking about how this country needs to do something about gun violence.
That was hysterical.
Yeah.
Stops in front of the blow-up pictures, kisses his hand on, and taps each one of their foreheads.
Like, you get away from them. You get away from them.
This guy is a hot mess.
Well, getting into his psychology, I'm not going to say that it's right, but in his mind, he wishes that he didn't have to kill them, but he had to send a message. There was no other way for him. In his mind, what he did was justified, but sad. He wishes at least he didn't have to kill little homie.
I think a strongly worded email would have been the same.
I don't think the strongly worded email is as permanent as a
Could have
bullet.
gotten his point across.
You
I'm
would
just
not
saying.
make it a day in the street.
Use
That's
your
true.
words.
You can't archive a bullet. You can't delete a bullet.
I'm just saying.
Bullet
use your
deletes
words.
you. Yeah.
No.
But in any case, poor Bridget is watching this on television. You know, and it just reminds Ray, like, we've got to lock this down. We've got to find out what's going on with this tape. He's being dicked around by Stockerazzi, who's, you know, been lying to him, playing him. And, you know, he puts the pressure on Lena. Lena comes up with a plant at Stockerazzi that says, no, the tape does exist. There's a meeting happening. You got to get over there. And Ray goes and meets Cookie at Pink's Chili Dogs.
Yeah. It's the Rosie O'Donnell with fries. Not sure what that is. I've had the Denzel Washington before, but not the...
Yeah.
They change it all the time.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I've only been to Pink's one time.
I think that's about as often as you need to go.
Yeah.
In any case, Ray gets in and, you know, he works him. He's like, Cookie's like, cool, let's go to the meeting. I'm coming with you. He's like, Ray's like, hold on, I work for you. Let me do this for you. You know, let me, you know, do what I got to do. You can't be anywhere near this thing. He's like, why? What would be the problem? I mean, I didn't do this. There's no reason why this should be a problem. I'm a concerned citizen. And Ray talks him down. He takes his money, gets out of the car. And he is. So I have a question. Is that the money that he's trying to give Lena for Lena and Avi when he thinks he's going away, or is that different money? Because then he's got more money when he goes to Stockerazzi, but it's the same duffel bag.
Well, he took the money for Lena and Avi out of that duffel bag, so it was all in that same duffel bag. I don't think he got the money from Cookie with the intention of dipping in that for Lena and Avi, because remember, he didn't find out that the amount of money was less than the $1 million/$2 million until he saw that little boy who only wanted $2,000.
Yeah.
So I think he was going to give Lena and Avi money anyway, but it just so happened that he had he had that money there, so he just gave it to them at the time. That's what I think.
Okay.
He has his safe in his office, so he probably just
Sure.
grabbed it.
Yeah.
He can replenish.
Yeah. So he grabs the money and he goes back to his office, where he runs into the one and only Kate McPherson, who lets him know she's going back home. She's got her story. And he's just sort of like, he doesn't even want to look at her. I think he's still ashamed of what he did in the last episode. I mean, she pushed him, but there's like no excuse for what he did when he put his hands around her throat while they were having sex. How did you guys read this scene? What's going on between the two of them?
Well, I see her having balls of steel again.
Once again.
Because if you choke me to the point where I think I'm going to die, I'm not going to be at your office to kiss you goodbye when I leave town. I just don't imagine being choked would turn out that way for me. So I thought in that regard it was a little weird. However, considering the fact that he's been doing this dance with her this whole time we've seen her on the show, I'm not surprised that she's drawn to that, because she knew he was married. She slept with him. She knew he still threw her under the bus with the article, but she still kept calling him and contacting him. So it seems like she enjoys doing this.
I feel like she's drawn in by not just like the bad that he can do, but like just he has good in him that's untapped. And I think that she wishes that she could fix. When she says I'm sorry, it's less about her publishing the article to me, and it's more about like, I'm sorry, this is the life you had. You didn't even have a shot. I feel like there's something to that for me. Maybe I'm like reading way too deep into it, but for me, I feel like there is a tragedy to Ray that is what attracts her to him.
She does say what Abby says to him in the first, like the pilot episode, which was, "You're sick.
Yeah.
You need help.
Yeah.
So I thought that was sort of poignant. But you know, overall, I just don't like this woman, and I feel like I want to sort of qualify this by saying, you know, I'm usually a fan of women, and I think, you know, I've hated on Abby so much, and I just don't like Kate, but I feel like there needs to be, you know, some sort of strong woman in this show. Lena's that, maybe. I'm a fan of Lena.
Although she beats her girlfriends.
Although we're not a fan of that.
Yeah.
So maybe not. Okay, but I'm more a fan of Lena than I am of Kate.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, she, you know, pushes him. No, there's not an excuse for him choking her, but you know, I thought it was equally crazy that she ran away scared while she was antagonizing him. Like, are you really surprised something like that happened? And then, to show up. And again, I feel like it is this very sort of high school behavior of
There's something naive to her, a little bit.
No. I
Not
think
naive?
there's, no. But to just, like, show up to be like, I'm leaving, we're never talking again. It's just so stupid. It's just silly.
She wants him to chase, him to chase her.
Well, she literally, she says it. She says it in the scene where she's like, I want you, I thought, I don't know.
I thought you were going to ask me not to
do it.
Do it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there's just like kind of what you guys are saying, like just that she wants to like save him in some way. And maybe she's not exactly sure how to, but like, her getting close to him and even the choking, like she's just maybe kind of willing to go there, but then it scares her at the same time, but then she still just can't keep away from him. And I just kind of read his body language too, as like no one's seen him
as vulnerable
as that. So he's just in general embarrassed about it. He's never really been open with people about the molestation. I mean, that came out, but I don't think he intended for that to come out. Mm-hmm. And she's seen so much more of him than anyone else has, so he just doesn't really know what to do. You know, he has to be his real self to some degree with her. Yeah.
And it scares the crap out of him. Yeah. Justifiably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to come back to Ray. I want to start talking about Mick and Connor. Well, even before that. So Ray and Abby at the house. We kind of glossed over this. He gives her these, this deed to this property. He says, I might be going to prison. Mm-hmm. And in traditional Abby fashion, she's like, I don't want your money. I don't want it. I don't want your dirty money from your dirty business. I will be taken care of. And Ray's like, on a cop salary?
Doing what?
Doing what? What is your job? What do you do?
Do you have any transferable skills?
Yeah. Your job is consuming wine that you pay for with my money.
Then to be realistic, those kids are privileged children.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to go from living in Calabasas to living in dang North Hollywood. Like, it's not.
No offense, North Hollywood.
No, because I'm out there too. I'm out there too.
Lovely environment.
But from the house they live in Calabasas, they're not gonna. They can't. It's just not in their thing. I don't see them being okay with this. So Abby, pipe down.
Mm-hmm. We also don't know if their grades are good enough to get any kind of scholarships. Like they had money to pay for their college, and suddenly they won't. And what? They're just gonna accept this new cop dad who was sleeping with their mom, while she was still married.
Abby's naive. She's the naive one. For her to be like, oh, we'll be fine. We'll be taken care of. Who's taking care of you? He can't even kill Cookie Brown for you. You know? I mean, now he's going to take on 2 stepkids and... No.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
So, by the way, Cop Dad sounds like an unfinished script from the 80s.
It does, right?
Oh, yeah.
The name for a new band?
What?
What?
I said her the name for a new band. He's always coming up.
Oh,
okay.
Cop
Dad.
Oh, that's good.
Cop Dad is not the name of a band. It's the name of a script.
It could be.
Right. So Abby comes up to Ray and she's like, I found this in your son's drawer. Maybe I thought you should know. And it's a couple joints in a fake Altoids tin. And Ray goes to talk to him after Connor steps in right as he's saying, you can F him in our bed. And like Connor's like stricken, like, what? And this kid, I mean, both these kids are doomed. I say it a lot, but it's just like, oh man. So Connor's like all pissy in his room, and Ray throws the joints down, and he's like, what? Grandpa gave them to me because Grandpa loves me, and Grandpa's so good, and Grandpa. And Ray's like, oh yeah, your Grandpa loves you, and he's like, no, shut up, Dad, you're an a-hole. Grandpa. I get idolizing your grandfather, when he comes out of nowhere and is like very charismatic and whatever, and like has this dark past. I get it, but it's just sort of like at some point he's got to be cognizant of the fact that his grandpa is a bad guy
and was in prison.
Yeah,
Sure.
He just got out the joint.
I think that tonight was the night.
Yeah, well, I think so, but I don't know. He's a teenager. Grandpa's cool. He's been to prison. He's done some time. That's cool. Gives me joints and gave me a car. Sounds like a pretty great grandfather. I don't know.
Now that you say it like that, it does sound okay.
Yeah,
but
Yeah, and he just overheard his dad saying that mom can do whatever guy she wants in his bed. You know, dad kind of seems like a jerk right now. So,
well, I mean, considering that dad was saying it's okay to F other guys in his bed, he's actually being pretty accommodating.
well, to Abby.
Too
but-
accommodating.
Yeah.
So Connor goes off in search of Grandpa, who is busy prepping for his heist. And before Connor gets there, he is chatting with Shorty, and Shorty sounds like, you know, from the first scene, we knew something bad was going to happen to Shorty, because he is just coughing up a lung in the other room. Turns out his oxygen tanks never arrived, so he's not going to be able to come to the heist. So Mick decides, in classic TV fashion, kind of like with a birthday party or a bar mitzvah, you know, like, oh, you can't come to the birthday party or bar mitzvah, we'll bring the birthday party or bar mitzvah to you. And in this case, it's a heist. And so Mick is it is a trope. It is a cliche. I'm not off base in comparing them. Yeah.
But what?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So Connor comes right when Mick is trying on his ski mask, and Mick just goes off on him. Like, you know, like, how dare you can't be here? How can you just come here whenever you want? He's like, Grandpa, you told me to come here whenever I want. It's like, well, this isn't what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he can't have Connor seeing him do any sort of evil. Like, he's built up pretty high in Connor's eyes.
Yeah, but Connor doesn't even ask why he's wearing a ski mask.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're going to pull a job, Grandpa? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stay here as long as I have to. Like, he doesn't even question that. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Send him home.
Yeah.
Just say, this is an old relic or whatever. Or just like,
Relic.
I don't know. Or just make him promise not to tell. He hates his dad. Why would he tell his dad?
This is an ancient ski mask from the olden days.
Yeah.
The classic.
Raiders of the Lost Ski Mask.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe he's going through his old stuff, you know, just
Yeah.
reliving
All the good old
times.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, when he got out of Walpole, he was just given a shoebox filled with ski masks.
Yeah, the good ones, though.
The good
Yeah,
ones, you know, the warm ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those Boston warming face warmers. Yep.
And so he tells Connor, you know, stay here. I got some magazines under the bed. And I'm just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't think they were Newsweek.
But at this point, Tommy Wheeler already shows him all of the nudes that he needs. So the magazines are like this child's play to Connor.
But he shouldn't be touching his grandpa's stroke mask.
That's
Okay? No one should. Like, of all the damaging
Now,
things.
that is a good band name.
Grandpa's stroke
Yeah,
mask?
that would be a great
You're
band
right.
name.
That is a great
Yeah,
band
I'd
name.
see them at the Troubadour any day.
Yeah. And he says, you know, if you get bored, just go across the hall. Problem. So, yeah. So while Mick is away on this heist, Connor's hanging out with Shorty, going through his stuff, and we find out, I don't know if we ever knew this, the reason why Shorty is the way he is. He inhaled too much Agent Orange during Vietnam.
In Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah, and his tanks finally arrive, and he's like, oh, thank goodness. Connor, hook me up. Crank it up all the way.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh, no.
Doom, impending doom.
Right. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, he smokes joints and sparks them up while he's got his oxygen in all the time. He's fine.
Yeah, no, the way, for those of you at home, the way this played out is Kennelia and Isaac and I are just like, no, oh God, oh no. And Matt's like, you guys, he does this every day. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, you guys. He does this every
his
day.
everyday
But
routine.
Connor does not hook up the oxygen tank
Right.
every day. Maybe he didn't seal the
Yeah.
seal or whatever it's called.
And he cranked it up all the way.
Yeah.
And then
Went all the way to 11.
all the way to 11,
Yeah.
you know, because that's how high it goes.
That's what I think.
Yeah. And
just
so Shorty's trying to spark up one last joint, and his lighter's not working, so he turns on the gas on his stove and turns that on. Of course, he blows sky high, which is tragic. And we're going to back all the way up, and we're going to come back to this moment. So we've got Mick, we've got Cherry, we've got Terry, we've got Ronald, and we've got Daryl, which is just like, what? Daryl, what are you doing there?
Yeah, he was really hurt after their party, and when he gives his car away, bashes it in. Like, you figure he's never going to talk to him again. I don't really fully get why he's back on the scene with them. Like, okay, Pop, I'll do whatever you say.
It's an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Daryl, look at Connor. That's Daryl in like 15 years. Like, I'll do it, you're fine, I'll do it, he needs me. I can totally see Connor being the same way. Just wants to help out, even though he's been wronged or knows it's a compromising position, but just because he has that love for him, he just wants to do whatever it takes. I can totally see Connor being the same type of dude.
Well, he just wants love or approval from anybody because he just doesn't receive it, even when he's done nothing wrong, necessarily. Yeah. What, you guys are...
No.
Okay.
I thought, well, he'll be the same guy in 15 years, but he won't be black, I guess.
True.
There's that
Yeah.
difference,
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that's a key difference.
Unless that's a possibility. Which,
I imagine in 15 years we'll have all kinds of surgeries. So,
sure.
yeah.
Pigmentation, sure. I'll take it.
Yeah. But it's the truth.
Yeah.
He keeps coming back for more, and he can't help himself. He wants. You remember when he was part of that scam in Mexico, and then all of a sudden he's happy to be driving the car with his mom and his dad.
Yeah, that's true. It's a pattern. Pattern behavior. He always keeps coming. I mean, obviously he's got father issues. And,
Yeah.
you know, anytime he has to, maybe he'll change this time. He's never going to change.
No. So we're at the weed shop, and the security guard is scurrying everyone out the door, and he's trying to push Cherry out the door, and she's like, "Come on, you liked it last time," and he's like, "Yeah, but I'm getting married tomorrow, so I need to have sperm for the wedding night," which is just like
It's very respectful of your future wife.
very respectful that your one excuse for not getting sucked off by a prostitute is that you're getting married tomorrow. Also, I was just surprised that he was getting married. I did not see him to be the marrying type. I don't know. Maybe
Everybody
that was
has
a judgment
something
on
at
my
home.
part.
Would have got a little something at home.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe is that over judgy?
Well, what do you mean? Because he's a security guard at the weed shop? Or
No,
because
just
he's Russian?
Just his attitude. Just his attitude and the fact that he was fine with the prostitute sucking the first time. That's all.
Well,
Maybe I'm expecting
Ray
too
is
much.
married and he gets around, so.
Well, we are introduced to him as a criminal. He wears black all the time
Okay.
to let us know how evil and dark he is.
Little known fact, anybody who always wears black all the time gets prostitutes.
I mean,
Fact.
I don't want to say that that's like a far and away truth, but I mean, I can
Well,
see
that was
your
That was
train of
your
thought.
point. You're like, well, women are wearing black all the time.
No,
so
I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of film and television, folks who wear all black all the time, typically not great dudes.
Where's that white shirt too?
Okay, sometimes he wears the white shirt
Yeah.
to let us know that he's still got
I feel
a
like
soul.
I've seen a gray suit as well. He's a very fashionable guy.
Very fashionable guy. So, how were you guys feeling when you were watching this heist unfold? I mean, I think we were all on edge, but like there were so many loose ends.
Sure. I said I guess 2 weeks ago that I got the feeling that Mickey was not a great criminal. He's great at coming up with schemes. And it just kind of like, I don't know, a little Three Stooges to me. Like,
Nobody had their ski mask pulled down.
Everybody just keeps lifting the
They're
mask.
just out here.
what's the
like,
point of having it
Right.
if you keep lifting it up to see stuff?
Daryl didn't even have one.
Well, he was never gonna come inside.
He had one, not at all. There's cameras across the street.
Yeah,
There's
cameras
always
everywhere.
cameras everywhere. He had nothing on. He had on his outfit from earlier that day.
Didn't
This
even
whole,
change
like
clothes.
you said, it was Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Terry was just like, whatever. Mick, you're really going to pick up a safe? Like, I wouldn't let him pick up my suitcase off the carousel at LAX. He doesn't seem like the guy who's going to be pulling out the safe out of a building.
Sure.
This whole thing was a mess.
Let's say
It was a hot mess.
Terry is curly. Sure.
Are we trying to give him the personality?
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be like a Shemp because there's like 4 of them. You know?
Sure. I mean, I guess maybe Ronald is Shemp. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. But in any case, Terry, first of all, can still pack a mean punch.
Yeah, man.
I mean, apparently not super mean because he woke up not too long after.
Yeah, but it was like 2 hits, and the guy was down and out cold. Like,
Yeah.
He was a formidable fighter at some point.
So they lock him up. They tape his mouth shut. We're like, okay, we're good to go. We clip the security camera. Let's do this. And then, I mean, it's so weird because like we watched the guy put money in the safe like a couple episodes ago, and it looked like it was right there off the room. But instead, there's this like long grow room. Had they moved it and like made this grow room in the meantime? I was as confused as Mick. I was like, what? Did they dream it? For a hot second, I'm just like, I'm going through all these ridiculous theories in my mind. Like, no. Okay, it's back there. Fine, good. Problem, super heavy. They're trying to move it. They don't have a ton of time, and the guard wakes up because they're taking forever. Ronald goes in to shut him up, and the guy lets him know, hey, you guys are screwed. We changed companies, and the pickup was already done yesterday. There's no money. You guys you're out of luck.
Yeah.
So Ronald calls Ray because he's just desperate for money. He's like, how much would you give me if I could put your father away tonight? Not even thinking about the fact that he would implicate potentially Terry and Daryl, basically half of Ray's family.
I don't think he cares.
No, not one bit.
Cares. But I mean, also he has money problems. He's a gambler. This was supposed to be his money fix. Like, well, now I have another route to go by turning these guys in.
Yeah. Kennelia, Anna, anything?
No, I mean, this is a show where there are a lot of people who really only care about what they need. They need what they need, and they need it now, and that's it. And there's not a lot of concern about consequences for other people. And, the fact that he's a parole officer, the fact that he let himself get involved in being paid off to begin with, and going on this ridiculous heist, it's just so stupid. And this really wasn't thought through. Like, the guy woke up, great. Like, let's just leave. Why are we sending people back in? You're out of there. Like, it doesn't have money. Okay. Like, stake out another weed store for a week. Who cares? I just don't understand. Like, why did that happen? Didn't need to happen.
And how much was in this safe? Because now there's 5 people. So it was like $30K.
Well, no, it was supposed to be a lot of money. It was supposed to be a couple $100,000.
All right, because if this was only for like $30K, is it really worth that once you split it amongst all those people?
I think it was
$6,000 a piece.
I think it was because Mickey made that remark to Shorty and felt bad about it. So he's like making it up with a heist. I think that's what it's for.
True.
And now really he's just paying all these people to be part of it. I think
they're getting
Wait, you think that
$2,500 each.
The root of this is just he feels bad that he hurt Shorty's feelings.
yes.
You might not be wrong. I mean, what do you guys think?
He did promise him a heist,
Yeah.
and they can't pull it off together. I mean, Shorty doesn't even have oxygen.
It's his one friend in the world, and he knows that he's dying.
Yeah.
He wants to give him something before he goes.
Yeah, well, even the thing that you said is a trope. Like, he honestly does want to cut him in on it. I mean, the man's about to die.
So they finally get the safe on the truck, but Ronald's gone. It's like, or like he hasn't come out in a while. It's like, what the hell? So Terry goes in and checks on him, and the guy lets him know that Ronald's gone. He took the keys, he screwed you over, he kicks the door shut, and Terry's trapped.
Man, I felt so bad for him.
Terrible. And there's no way of getting him out, and he knows that he's just screwed. It's over.
Yeah, and I think this Terry thing is going to... If Terry gets locked up, let's not forget he has a girlfriend. And I'll say from what I think for predictions, but I was more concerned about her and what she's going to do than what Terry's going to do when they take him to jail.
You think she's going to tell the police about the priest?
I think she would want to.
Yeah.
Because he's in this situation because Ray didn't want to sell the gym so they can go to Ireland. He did this with Mick so Mick can he can get some money to go.
Right.
So
somebody has to take the blame.
You're not wrong. In her mind, it could be Ray's fault.
But it's not going to help Terry to say that he was part of a murder. He's not going to get out of prison any faster.
That's true, but if he's sentenced, then she really has nothing to lose on that front.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But no,
She has genuine feelings for him, though. It seems like, well, now he's in for 2 things,
But he kind of blew her off last time. She said, hey, I'll take my son's college tuition and pay for us to go to Ireland, and he was like, absolutely not, I'm gonna do things my way, and just let his pride get in the way, and was just kind of a jerk about things entirely for no reason, when he could have just left with her. So she might say, I hate crime, and your family is too complicated.
Yeah.
Sure. Good luck in prison.
Yeah. That's entirely possible, too. So, Shorty blows sky high, knock it, and for a second we were terrified about Connor. We knew he wasn't in the room with Shorty.
Yeah.
But we didn't know where he was. Mick, terrified, runs into the building, and Connor's trapped by a door. His arm's broken, or at least a hairline fracture.
Yeah.
So Mick gets him out of there. And Connor calls his dad, who at the time is en route to Cookie Brown with the video, which I assumed he had edited. That he edited out that whole part where it incriminated his daughter as being there, and she calls her daddy, incriminating him.
Yeah, that was a very tender moment to see her calling him on the phone there. I don't know. I thought maybe he was on the way to take care of Cookie personally.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought he had like a, you're not going to get anywhere near my daughter kind of face, And
But if he's going to meet him on his home turf, I mean, that's going to be hard to take Cookie out in his own house with all of his guys there.
Sure, it would be tough, but it seemed like he was. I think he would. There are no lengths which he wouldn't go to protect Bridget, and seeing that she was on the video. I mean, I guess he could try to edit it, but I think he might just fix his own issue.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I can see it going either way. I think if Ray, considering the fact that at this point he seems to not feel like he has much left to lose, I wouldn't be surprised if he went there with the intentions of trying to kill Cookie.
Yeah.
Because he already left Abby the house, and he already told Lena and Avi, what was potentially going to happen. So I wouldn't be surprised. But he could have, it's easy to edit on the iPhone, so that could have been a quick fix either way.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Jim Halloran
Going
and
to
his
pull over
awful
Cookie.
attempt at planting drugs. He's just like, you see him like sweating bullets. He's like hyperventilating.
Cookie even says, like, why do you look so nervous?
Yeah, man. It's like, I have no reason to get out of this car. You're pulling me over because I'm a black man in a $235,000 car. And his partner is like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on, pal?
Yeah.
You're behaving strange. What's that there in your pocket?
If you're going to be a corrupt cop, you need to either be working alone or make sure that your partner is in on the corruption with you.
Exactly.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. And if you're going to plant drugs on somebody or kill them in broad daylight, they have to be alone too. You can't have them in a car filled with their people.
And you also don't do it right off of Melrose.
Yeah.
Where anybody could see you across from the Baskin Robbins.
I honestly thought he was about to get shot. Like, there's absolutely no way Cookie's getting out of this car.
Yeah.
He's not getting out of this car. You'll get shot before he does. And I thought, about to see him die here.
And he was doing all of this for Abby, guys.
Yeah.
This was for Abby.
And maybe a little bit for Bridget, too. I don't know. But,
yeah, for Bridget. But that wouldn't have even been a thought in his mind. He was just trying to catch the bad guys when it first happened, and until Abby was like, "We need to do something." All right.
It's like he almost had his big boy pants on there for a minute, and then like when they're like, you're gonna go, he's like, "All right, you're good." He's like, "You know I'm good." You know what he says to him.
Yeah. So he calls Abby, and he's like, I couldn't do it. And she just hangs up immediately, and she goes for that gun. And I was terrified that she was going to march down to Cookie Brown's house and start shooting the place up. I don't know why I jumped to that conclusion.
Yeah, I don't know that she's that dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
But she is naive.
Yeah.
Yes. I have to say, I had this morbid thought go through my head, and I don't know if this is a commentary on the way my brain works or the show, but I thought first that she was going to go kill Cookie, and then I thought, she should just kill Bridget. That's what she should just do. Like, these kids are so messed up, and she's never going to recover from this. Aww. Like, she isn't. There's no way this girl's ever going to have a normal life, and I know, it's terrible.
That's a dark turn.
It is a dark turn.
Very dark turn.
And I love Bridget so much. I love her.
So do we.
I know. She's so precious, but, she's never, she has a lifetime of a horrible, just just horrible coming towards her, and there's no going up from here. So anyway, I guess it says more about the way my mind works.
Bridget will be okay. She can get her a nice young boyfriend who's college bound, Ivy League, you know, plays lacrosse. She doesn't have to
be killed by her
stop
mother.
dating hood rats, and she'll be fine.
But now, in the grand scheme of things, she's the hood rat compared to these like Ivy Leaguers.
She is the hood
you know,
rat.
she
More
comes from the
experience,
family of like, you know, the father who might wind up back in prison, who's like, you know, doing all this shady stuff, who's got a dead ex-boyfriend who was killed.
Blood was in her mouth.
Blood was in her mouth. Exactly. Now, like, I understand what you're saying, just from the perspective of like, her life is now the range of possibilities that it has is very limited, largely to dark things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Don't know about a mother shooting her own child.
True.
And then herself probably, but
Yeah. So
I can see her shooting herself, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty messed up.
So Connor calls Ray, and he lets him know what happened, and Ray, you know, spins that car around and goes right for his son.
Love that.
Mhm.
Love that he
Immediate.
just action. You know,
Done.
My kid's hurt.
Done.
Yeah.
Even though it puts everything else in jeopardy, but still.
Does, but he's got to go
Yeah.
take care of him right now.
And of course, you know, he sees what happened, and then he goes for Mick, and he just like,
Cocks him.
well, first Mick tells him, you gotta get Terry a lawyer. Terry's screwed. It's like, you included Terry in this, and then he's just like, I'm gonna kill you, you know, and it puts Ray in jail, screwing that up. He goes too far. His anger takes him too far, and now everything else is going to fall out of balance because Cookie's waiting for this video. The longer he waits, the more unpredictable he's going to be, and the more he's going to assume that something's up.
Right.
Yeah. So we go into the finale with all of that up in the air, and then also Ezra and Avi, which is just going to be heartbreaking. The Rodef. I'm really, really concerned about this. Let's talk about it in predictions.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, people. Season finale. What are we thinking? What's going down? Personally, I think Ezra bites the dust by episode's end. I really, really think he's gonna have gone too far, and Ray's gonna put down his loving father figure.
Yeah. Well, I wrote that he ends things with Ezra. I thought of that as a possibility, but I don't know. I guess then is Ray into business for himself if he kills Ezra? Is that what he's been building up to?
I don't know. I think he could still be working with Lee, potentially.
Okay, sure.
You know, like Lee, a few times in the past 2 seasons has been like, you know, Ezra's a problem.
Sure.
You know, all he thinks about is the RGOCC. So it's entirely possible that he could keep that relationship alive, especially if he covers it up and it isn't obvious that it's him.
And Cookie Brown is going down.
Cookie Brown's going down. Has to happen.
Sorry, Omar. Great guest on the show, but I think you're dying, man.
Yeah.
I think Kate is going to die. I think Cochran is going to do something to Kate. Because she can't go into season. I just don't see her going into season 3. For some reason, she could. But I think too many people, she's annoying too many people. I think she's toast.
Mainly Anna.
mostly me.
Yeah.
Mostly me.
What do you think, Anna?
I think Terry's going to get out of his situation.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty quick fix, actually. And that's all I have. Yeah, I'd like to see Kate go, though, obviously.
I think she'll be gone. I don't know that she'll die.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out next week. I mean, it's going to be, either way, it's going to be a very explosive finale. We're going to be right here recapping it all for you. So please come back, same time, same station. Kennelia Stradwick, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Kennelia.
Okay, and Isaac Johnson.
You can find me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson, Instagram, The Isaac Johnson, and go to my YouTube page, The Isaac Johnson. Check out my music video and a short film I was in called The Forge.
Okay, and Anna Koppel.
You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR.
Okay, and you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find all my videos for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube. And you can find me here doing the Nick, The Strain, Doctor Who, Sons of Anarchy, got Sleepy Hollow, and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. starting back up this week. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next week for the finale. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.